The Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2021 John Deere Classic DraftKings picks. And preview, you want to play in the best tournament on DraftKings, hit the description, play in the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League. We fill it up super quickly. We get a real big one for the British Open next week. We'll have full British Open coverage starting on Saturday all the way through till lock on Thursday. And maybe we'll even pop up for some cut sweats because it's real early in the afternoon where we are, at least. So it won't be like unlike last time where it went to like midnight our time, which was, not great. Although I do enjoy some primetime golf, I really enjoy the Open Championship because I can wake up at 2 a.m. and just start watching golf. It's fantastic news. If you want to get into a draw for some big bucks, some cash giveaways, it's easy stuff. Two ways to do so. One, subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. You probably already have done that. And if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, something you enjoy about the show, your Twitter handle or email address so I can contact you, boom, you're in the draw. Gave away around $1,000 last time, hoping that I can get around that this time as well. I might try to limit the amount of winners and give out more cash to those people because, giving out $25 here, $20 here, it might just be like, hey, here's $75, here's $100. So even if you've done the review before, I suggest you do it again. You bump yourself back up to the top of the list so I actually see it. Also, the other way to do so is subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience newsletter. That's also free to join down in the comments section right now. If you missed Fantasy Golf Degenerates, it premiered on Mayo Media Network last night. It was Kenny Kim on a casting couch, smoking cigs, talking to Tambo. I think you would enjoy it. The European Tour Pick Show with the Scottish Open breakdown with Axis and Tom. Axis filling in for Sky. That's up right now too, as is my research show for the John Deere Classic and the Scottish and JDC picks with Feinberg out yesterday. Tons of golf content for you to consume if you want. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but hey, it would really help me out. Just like smashing the like button and giving me your favorite 2 plays from the 6K region this week at the John Deere Classic, and subscribe to Mayo Media Network while you're at it. Ben Rasa is on the line. This is a fun tournament.
Oh, yeah, this is we didn't get this last year, and I don't know if it's just a difference in field. I don't remember the field being this outrageous. This is one that stands amongst the worst fields of the year.
Could you imagine if Daniel Berger wasn't playing?
No, not really, because that would force everybody to take a price hike, and then we'd have, some of these guys have never been in the ranges that they're at, but we are lucky that Berger is here because that would be a really extreme situation.
Is there any specific skill set you're trying to target here, or just, hey, who can make a lot of putts? That's who's going to win.
Yeah, it's such an easy course. It's a birdie fest. We got some. We could take some things from last week, even though it didn't play quite as easy as I thought it would. But this probably will. I don't know exactly. I think it's more, just stacking up similar to what we do in hard fields, looking for some correlation. But there's no doubt streaks, bonuses, all that stuff is going to be firmly in play this week.
So how does that affect your approach? Like, is this a good stars and scrubs week, considering the stars are actually secret scrubs?
So yeah, that's always the weird question because you're like, it's like, what are you paying up for? But on the flip side of that, the difference to me between, the high 6s and some of the guys in like the 8s at times is not, it's a few good weeks here and there. It's such equally distributed top 10 equity, top 20 equity, win equity in some regards. I think you can mix and match. I will say though, even though it doesn't feel like it, you're getting more stability, of course, up top, just because the field depth is non-existent this week.
All right, well, let's jump into the 10Ks and the 11Ks, I suppose. Berger is the most expensive. He's $11,000. Sungjae is $10,700. Harman is $10,400. He's won here before. And last week's winner, the Aussie, Cam Davis, is $10,100. Just looking at it, like, although you say there's stability at the top, but there's also not that huge of a gap between like the upper 6s and mid 8s. Why am I just not playing Berger in every lineup?
Yeah, I think that's normally you see that more with like a DJ type of player where it's like, oh my God, this guy's soaked up all the win equity. I don't extremely think that with Berger, but it's all relative to the field and he's playing good golf. We haven't seen him a ton, but I feel pretty comfortable playing him and figuring out the rest. I mean, Sanjay, Harmon. I actually kind of like Cam Davis. I know people don't like to play people off wins, but I'll probably stick on him and hope that he can just keep this putter rolling.
Yeah, I just look at it like, is Sungjae going to put it all together? He came pretty close last week. Like, the irons have been good for a few weeks now. Maybe he is the look. I just don't think I can get to Harmon at 10-4. And Davis, not that I dislike Davis or don't want to play him because he's coming off a win. Just, I think that there are better guys behind him, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, I mean, that's the thing. So when you look at the pricing, somebody has to fill the top tier, and Berger's, to me, basically the only guy that it's not like he's 11,000 in normal fields, because he's not, but he is towards the top in much stronger fields. And some of these other guys, I mean, Cam Davis, just to speak to the other side, I mean, he's coming off a win, but we don't see him even close to guys, like Berger in some regards. So I get it. It's just, it's such a weird lineup construction. I always think this is always one of my first questions to you. Do you see any way where you double up with two of these guys? Because I don't think anyone's going to do that.
I don't know, because I'm looking at the projected ownership right now. If everyone wants to go and check out the projected ownership, I do try to make my guesses in the newsletter on Wednesday evening, but fantasynational.com/Mayo will get you 20% off, and you can find all of that information up there as it adapts in real time to the more and more lineups that people end up generating. The more accurate the info is going to be when we get a larger sample size. Like right now on a Tuesday morning, only 2,000 lineups have been generated. When we check back on Wednesday evening and it's like 40,000, then you're going to have a better sample of what's going on in terms of the ownership projections. But, I do want to let you know, too, that if you use the /Mayo at the end of Fantasy National, you get 20% off. If you haven't done it yet, wait till Wednesday and get the weekly. Then you get John Deere Classic and the British Open, which you would probably want to do. Get that 2 for 1. I mean, you can go Tuesday to Tuesday, just you wouldn't have it on Wednesday. So you want to go Wednesday to Wednesday to make sure you're there for lock for the British Open along with the John Deere Classic. FantasyNational.com/Mayo. No, I don't think that anyone's really going to do it. Like, looking at the ownership, no one's playing Cam Davis, like you said. That's at least the early lean on people. But Berger's not overwhelming chalk either. Like, I figured, like, maybe people are scared off that Bryson busted last week, but I would have expected Berger to be like 40% owned. And he's going to be like 20.
Yeah, if he is in fact 20% owned, that would be pretty easy for me to get over. If he's 30% owned, now we're getting into a situation, that's pretty hefty number. It's not to say that I won't have exposure, because I will, but I'll probably look to mix some of those lineups up. Maybe I will attach Cam Davis to him. Then you can build pretty freely. You still have north of 7K. And again, in a field like this, similar to what we saw last week, I mean, you're going to have random people from the 6K range to 7. Like, anyone could win this type of event. It's so wide open.
Well, if you were to double up, would it be Berger Davis or would you go Berger Sungjae?
It would be Berger Davis for me, just because I think that directly leverages it. And I'm going to need, not that it makes a huge difference, but I certainly want the extra $600.
Well, let's drop down into the 9s, because I think that's the build that people are going to look at the most. Either start with one of the 10Ks and drop to either Henley or Streelman, or just start their teams with Henley and Streelman. That's where the ownership is congregating at the moment. Henley is 9.9, then it's Streelman, Norman, your guy, Aaron Wise, who is $9,200. That sounds like fun. See, woo! $9,100. And then Seamus Power, $9,000, who's actually legitimately riding a heater at this point.
He's been fantastic. Never seen him at 9,000 before, but it's justified. I mean, what can you say? He's just playing amazing golf. He still has no pitcher, the mystery man. But yeah, just every time he gets a start, he's taking advantage. The irons have been fantastic. I don't mind him at all. Henley makes a ton of sense. I think he'll be very popular. I think a lot of people, I think, will go Berger Henley and work from there. That's going to be a popular, 1-2 combo. You got to like Aaron Wise, though, don't you?
Oh, no. I mean, that I'm playing Kevin Na and Si Woo. Those are my guys. And no one's playing guys. And no one is playing them.
Kevin Na is the type. I mean, we talk about this all the time. He's really not doing much. He gained a ton of strokes putting at Travelers. But when he puts it together, he's the type of guy that can absolutely dominate an easy course, can go really low, he closes the door. It's just you're incurring a lot of risk there, as you normally are. But it's not to say that someone like Aaron Wise isn't risky, because he is. He just seemingly I thought he found the putter, and then nope, back to the beginning. At Travelers, just lost 5 strokes putting once again.
Yeah, looking at in just the modeling over the past 24 rounds, he comes out 5th in this field. Power is 9th,
right.
Streelman is 8th, Streelman is 3rd, Henley is 8th. I think this is just going to be a week where I look at the projected ownership and I see Henley and Streelman, and even Power to a certain extent, and be like, you know what? I lose most weeks anyway. I might as well just go down with the ship and just play the guys no one else is playing, because I don't have a feel for this event at all.
Does that include Noren?
I think I might play Noren. I'm feeling
me
Noren.
too. I'm feeling Noren too. Playing pretty good golf. We know he can putt. I don't normally think of him as someone who is like a massive scorer, but I'll tell you what, he's really turned a corner with that lately. He's become a lot more volatile, and he's made a lot more birdies than you would think if you're still remembering him more from like the grinded out, really good Euro player.
Yeah, he's 12th and birdies are better gained in this field. And when you just sort him by like easy courses, he just pops to the very top of the list. You're like, oh, okay. So he's a birdie fest guy now. He would just go win on the Corn Ferry Tour if he was to drop down.
Maybe you should do that. I wanted to bet him. I just couldn't get a number that I really liked. He was like 28, 30 to 1. I was hoping for better than that.
I do feel, and a lot of it is putting related to his woes recently, but I just don't understand the Siwoo betting odds. I don't understand the Siwoo DraftKings pricing. Like normally when you get to a course that would fit him really well, which I think that this does, he gets these like weird odds where, and maybe it's because the field is so weak that like when he goes to Heritage and there's like real guys at the Heritage, and although he hasn't won that tournament before, he has come second and he's known as a Pete Dye specialist. He's like 28 to 1, but in this field, he's 35 to 1. Like that seems like a good number for Siwoo for a guy who actually wins tournaments.
Yeah, he does. I mean, that's honestly just putting into context. That's what I'm saying. Like Noren is a more, they have him at shorter odds than Siwoo. That doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Guys like Henley and Streelman are in the low 20s. Like 35 on Siwoo seems much better than those guys, even though I have no problem with those guys. I'm with you in that regard. It seems like they're pricing him for a field that's much different than the one he's going up against here.
That's how I feel about Kevin Na as well. You can grab him at 45 or even 50 in some spots. And maybe it's to protect themselves from the top 5s and the top 10s, unless they wanted to, because I mean, I'm sure they just punch it into the algorithm and the top 5 odds are just going to be reflective of what the outright odds are. And guys like Streelman and Henley and Harmon all have a much better chance of coming inside the top 5 than Na or Siwoo. But Na and Siwoo just have a better chance of winning the event.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, that's where the boom bust comes in. Like sometimes they don't have it and they're not in contention to make the cut, but they also take down more tournaments than it seems like they should. The odds are just weird though. Yeah. I mean, Seamus is another one. He's like, I see 33 to 1 to win. Like, why is he, I like Seamus a lot and he's playing really well, but it's still a massive leap. The other guy won the Players, and Seamus, I don't even know if he has status on the tour.
Looking at the ownership in the 9s, like I mentioned, it's going to be everyone's congregating to the same spots. There's only so many expensive guys that you can play, so that actually does make some sense. But Henley looks like he could push like over 30% this week, and maybe that will dial itself back over the next 36 hours or so. Streelman over 20%, Power pushing 25%, like Harmon's going to push 20%, like more than Berger and Sungjae. And then you have Noren, who could get up there too, although you get to a breaking point with it where they all can't be 20%. So Noren's probably going to end up at like 15 to 18, something like that. Then you have Siwoo and Na in the single digits. And then you have Wise, who I think everyone just kind of feels like me about Wise. Like, yeah, I could see playing him, but I'm not going to play him.
No, I don't feel like that at all. I see playing him and I will play him, and then bad things will probably happen. I still think, the game is trending in the right direction. Tita Greeny's been fantastic, and he really was showing form. It's just ironic. I don't know what the word is. He seems to play better in really difficult, not even courses, but fields. Like he top 10 at Wells Fargo, top 20 at the PGA, top 10 at Memorial. But he was bad at the Byron Nelson, bad at the Travelers, bad at Valero. Like it seems when he's amongst lesser competition, for some reason he can't put it together, and that really doesn't make a lot of sense.
He's like one of those high-end NCAA basketball teams that plays to the competition.
Seriously, I don't get it, but I still believe in if he's lower owned, and over at Awesemo, that's where we have him projected well as the lowest owned of the 9K range.
Oh yeah. Oh, I will throw out Kevin Na being way lesser owned.
You think? See,
Yeah.
Kevin Na though, he's just, I don't know. In these birdie fests, like his ability to just turn it on is going to be interesting. But I do agree. When you look at the form, he is someone that the public probably won't gravitate towards too much.
No, Kevin Na has missed. Well, he's only missed 2 of his. He's gone made cut, miscut, made cut, miscut, made cut, miscut. So classic Kevin Na type stuff. But when it comes to the public and people in general seeing that price on Kevin Na, everyone has played Kevin Na in a tournament where he's randomly withdrawn or he shot 21 over or something stupid like that. That when it comes to investing 9,500 into Kevin Na, it's a lot different than investing 6,800 into Kevin Na.
I'm interested to see if the people that do that, if they're starting with Kevin Na or they're trying to use him kind of as an add-on to a Berger or Harmon type.
I think that I will construct lineups in 2 separate ways. Like I probably won't go 100% Berger, but I'll probably go like 70% Berger. So that means I'll have a lot of Berger, Na, Berger, Noren, Berger, Siwoo teams. And then I'll probably build a few that are Na, Noren, Siwoo at the top and make those my 3 big guys. Because I don't love the 8s at all.
No, I mean the 8s, like I said, that's where you look, and in a couple different tweaks, these guys in the 8s could be in the 6s. Like I really don't know what to do with that, and it makes it difficult because again, it's like what do you have to make sure you're allocating the opportunity cost of paying up to get something. Like just getting a guy in the 8s because he's in the 8s may not really help you.
Let's talk about these guys in the $8,000 range. Again, ownership is gravitating towards some of exactly the same people who are generally the people who played really well last week. So Troy Merritt looks like he's going to be around 20%. Hank Lebiota is going to be above 20%. Johnny Vegas, for whatever reason, is going to be like 15%. And Lucas Glover is going to be somewhat popular as well. That leaves McNeely and Kazires garnering ownership too. So that as the pivots, that leaves McNeely, Zach Johnson, Ryan Moore, Doc Redman, and Munoz and Gim. Those guys are sort of devoid of ownership. You know I'm playing Doug Gim. And I really wanted to play Lebiota, and I might anyway, but he just, an $8,400 Hammer and Hank Lebiota at 23% ownership. I just can't see that working out well for anyone.
No, it doesn't seem. I mean, that's the type of guy. I know it's a different field, but like I was playing Hank Lebiota as a lot of people were in like the mid 6s like 2 weeks ago.
Is that fair to compare? Because the field is completely different. Obviously, the reason that we were playing him when he was $6,400 because he was showing form. He was looking really good. It seemed like he was underpriced. Now that he's overpriced, does being overpriced really matter in a field like this?
So it does. I totally get what you're saying there. I'd say this. It doesn't matter a ton to me, but the problem is if you're overpriced, normally the reason that you're still interesting is because it creates an ownership pivot. If you're overpriced and popular, then it's a little difficult. It's not like you can't get there. It's just, it's hard to justify it because even if you get it right and your margins are much thinner, you're not separating a ton. So I get it. And in a field like this, I say this a lot with these weak fields, your number 1 golfer to your 6th golfer, it's not correlated in terms of placement points nearly as much. Like your bottom end guys could be the guys that do the heavy lifting. But I think I would rather try to 5 pivots, whether it's Redman, dare I say Zach Johnson, the man himself.
I was going to say Zach Johnson, $8,500. No one's using him. And it's not like he's playing poorly.
No, he's not. And I mean, we know his history here absolutely is synonymous with this course. And he was good at Travelers. If that putter connects, I don't think it's unreasonable to play Zach Johnson.
Should we be playing Maverick McNeely, who all of a sudden is Rory McIlroy off the tee?
I don't really understand I don't get his game really at all because he gets crazy hot with the putter. His irons are pretty bad, but now, yeah, you're not joking. I mean, his off the tee game has been absolutely ridiculous the past couple weeks, and he's pairing it up with putting. He's in the Bryson method, and you keep doing that, good things are going to happen.
I don't mind going back to McNeely here. The key is to always play him at courses with smaller greens. The average green size at TPC Deere runs like 5,100 square feet, very reminiscent of last week. And like you said, he gets so hot with the putter when he gets going that he is kind of a perfect guy to go to. And I'm kind of surprised. Maybe it's the price bump that are keeping everyone off him. Everyone just wants Lee Biota at this point. But I think when we look at actual skills and who is a better golfer, I think it's McNeely over Lee Biota, to tell you the truth. And a $400 difference isn't really killing me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. I think it's McNeely pretty clearly. I'd rather play him than Kazire. I think I'd probably rather play Lucas Glover than all of them. I know I'm worried he's got to make his fair share of putts, but I can live with that. His putter's actually been, not that it's ever electric, but it hasn't been a detriment in recent weeks. He just needs to clean up the ball striking.
Yeah. Will he do that, though, I guess is the real question.
I don't know. But again, when I'm looking at chalk Troy Merritt, who I like Troy Merritt in life. I'm not
Troy Merritt is your guy.
He is my guy.
I assumed you were going to win all of the bucks last week if he won.
No, I needed. I mean, that would have helped. I was rooting for Neiman and Merritt and not Cam Davis. So we saw how that went. But yeah, Troy Merritt's been absolutely fantastic. He's a super putter. He's striking it much better. Easy course. All of it checks out. I still think that, again, you have I don't know, maybe I overrate how good Maverick is, but to me, Maverick's a kind of a solid player, and he's young enough where we still don't know exactly how good he is.
There's just so much downside with McNeely because he misses so many cuts. It's a lot like Max Homa in a weird. He's like the minor league Max Homa. So do I, but he can miss his fair share of cuts when the putter doesn't work.
Oh, there's no doubt. I love guys that when you incur extra miscut equity, but when you get them right, when you get Maverick right, the chances that he grabs you some placement points are so high, and I love that about him.
Should we just be playing Troy Merritt? Why isn't he $10,000?
If he was $10,000, that would be extra special. But I mean, listen, there's no arguing with the form. He's doing everything right. It's just, again, that concept of, is it a chasing element? Where is he? Yeah, he's 45 to 1. He's in that same bucket of guys. I wanted to look at him in the betting market. Plus upwards of plus 500 for a top 10 in some spots. But I think when push comes to shove, I'd rather play McNeely or Glover right now, and even Zach Johnson.
How about my boy Gim? It was the first week ever. Well, he didn't lose off the tee. He was a net neutral off the tee and lost on approach. He's only actually ever lost off the tee and with his irons 3 times in his career, which is kind of shocking. He doesn't seem to have the irons going like he did earlier in the year, though.
No, but I never really understand that. I'm not saying it always happens, but he looked very crisp around the green and the putter was fine. If he can is he one of those guys right now where it's all almost there and he just needs to connect the dots? If he can sync up these good irons and a neutral putter per se, maybe he can go nuts on a course like this where it's just open season.
Maybe. I mean, I'm going to play him because I play him every single week, but that is not really, I play terrible players every single week. So that really should be an endorsement of him. You have that little mini range there with Moore, Redmond, and Munoz that no one wants a part of anymore after everyone wanted a part of 2 of those guys last week.
I mean, Ryan Moore in theory makes sense. I just can't do it. I've tried this year and it's not working. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing. I don't think I could go there. I think Redmond would be probably my favorite of the bunch just because to me he's almost, in the random number generator of what you're going to get week to week. He goes nuts, then he disappears. I don't think it's crazy to think that he just has one of these, first round leader type outputs and has a big week.
I was surprised to see him currently trending in the single digits in ownership because I really had no interest. But then I look at the numbers. They tell me he's quite good, especially lately. And from all the key proximity ranges, essentially 175 and in, he's excellent. If you make him hit a really long iron, not so much the best. So if he can continue to make some putts, which he didn't last week, maybe it's a nice rebound spot for him in the low part of this region. 7Ks. I like Stanley at 79. This seems like the ultimate Kyle Stanley course. Like, where's Griot?
I know. Well, Griot, he needs to be in timeout. He's been not great. So Stanley's one of the few guys to me that feels underpriced. Like, I don't know. I know he's not playing fantastic, but he's striking it really well. And like we see him in the low sevens at like the Memorial. I figured Stanley would be like with Glover and Zach Johnson. To me, this is a pretty easy spot. I'm willing to just buy here. Pedigree's making cuts. He's done nothing with the putter. Anything you get with the putter this week is a bonus.
So other than that, like I'm looking at, I mean, if we're going to play Zach Johnson, do we have to play Steve Stricker? Because I'm pro playing Steve Stricker this week. Like he's won here he's won here 3 times, and it's not like he's bad. And this is still perfect for him. It's just hit your pitching wedge and make putts.
Yeah, he does do that well. I don't want, this is what's wrong with this tournament. Like, why can't he just be focused on whatever the captain does at the, the Ryder Cup or whatever? Just, I don't have time for 7,700 Steve Stricker, but I get it. I always, in my mind, and maybe you could tell me if this is crazy. I always feel like Steve Stricker doesn't get streaks, doesn't get bonuses. He just has like 2 birdies, 1 bogey every round.
I feel like that's the case, but I actually have no idea. I think we just project that onto him because
I think that's made up.
Yeah, like we do that. It's like with Jim Furyk. It's like, oh yeah, Jim Furyk never makes a birdie. Like the guy shot a 58 before, so
yeah.
What happened to Furyk, by the way? He no longer plays? Like, why isn't he in this field?
He's resting. That's what Steve Stricker should do. Just relax. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't mind it. I thought the guy we were going to bring up
was Perez.
What is going on with, well, I like Perez. I was going to say, what happened to Bo Hostler? All of a sudden, he's like found it.
I mean, that's it. Feinberg is the guy to talk to about this. I mean, he's chipping and putting, and he's driving it well for the first time in ages. And every once and again, he's going to hit his irons well. He's done that. He did it really well at Palmetto. He didn't really do it at all last week or at Travelers, but he was good enough off the tee and basically playing the Bryson method. But we know that he's a really good putter. He's just not one of the guys. I'd rather play Denny McCarthy.
Is he even here?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be surprised when we get to him. I didn't know he was here. The other guy who, and he's not playing well at all, but like I look at HV3, who is in the mid 7s in a lot of tournaments. I don't know what is going on with him. It's just been really, really poor form. He shows flashes with the irons, but nothing is sustainable.
Yeah, I'm out on HV3 for the moment. Like, when was the last time he was good?
It's been quite a while at Heritage.
He was second at Heritage. He has 2 top 20s this year, 1 at Heritage, 1 at Honda. That's it. Actually, no, that's not true. He was 13th in Phoenix.
Still not going to get it done.
Not for this price. Like, he should be like $6,800. Maybe not in this field, but just generally. And he's not.
You got him down there.
But like there's like the other guys. Like, I'm going to play Norlander at 73. I think Piercy's in a nice rebound spot after a really terrible opening round last week. I like Stallings. And these guys aren't that different from the guys at the very top. I'm with you on Perez, though. He's just making a ton of birdies right now.
Yeah, he's rolling it well. Perez is someone that I've kind of like, I talk about this a lot, like where I macro buy on a guy. I really liked him at Travelers, didn't work out, held on at Rocket Mortgage, worked out, gained a ton of strokes putting, but that's okay. You know what? He's someone he can get hot with the putter. I'm not going to fault the guy for that. He needs to shore up the ball striking a little. I'm going to bounce back with Ches. I thought that was a pretty bad miscut last week. Really had no business missing that cut. The putter is killing him, and it probably will continue, and that worries me a little bit, but I think Ches is in a pretty good spot this week.
He was my first bet of the week. I looked at the board. He's down to 55-1 right now, but I saw him. He opened at 75. I was like, yeah, he's way better than 75-1 in this field. Like, there's no reason that he shouldn't be 40-1 with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, agree with that. Yep.
So yeah, he will probably be my highest weighted player in the $7,000 range. Like, when we make our play the best plays lineup, I think that Ches has to be in it.
That's going to be an interesting lineup. Play the best plays here. EVR is not even playing. That's a boost for us all. God, I want to say Patrick Rogers, but I can't.
Hey, he came second here once, and you're going to hear a lot of people parrot that over the course of the week.
Yeah, I remember that. That was an awesome, awesome week, him and Bryson. But Yeah, I don't think I can do that. I would rather go to some of the guys that you've mentioned in terms of like recent form. Oh, bad miscut, and I'm not worried about that. Your boy Luke List.
Oh yeah, I'm off Luke List. I want to be on Matthew Neesmith, but I just can't get there. The guy misses way too many cuts for someone who he projects out now. Like when you put him in the model, he projects out like old Luke List. You're like, oh, this guy should be great. He's not.
Yeah, and then it like old Luke List, it rarely works out like that. I don't even have a good case to make here. I assume this guy's going to be very low owned. And I keep trying to do this, and it really hasn't been doing a ton. Do you have any interest in CT Pan?
No, I don't. Why do you have interest in CT Pan?
I don't know. There's something about this guy that it feels like 1 week it's tee to green, and I'm like, okay, this is positive. Then, at Travelers, he finally putted well, and he paired it with garbage off the tee. When he gets going, I kind of like it. I feel like this is a decent spot, like 4% ownership, but it doesn't really seem like too often you're getting top end equity. That's the thing that kills me. I don't know how often he can make a cut, of course, but is he crashing the top 10 party? That's where I think it's problematic.
I think you're best off if you want to drop down like Stanley, Shez are probably my two guys in the sevens that I really like. Then I drop down to the very low end outside of like the random spatterings of a Scott Piercy or Scott Stallings or Norlander, that kind of thing. And then like Kadira and Denny McCarthy are both $7,000. Like I'll just take
with you on Kadira.
Well, Kadira lost the ability to drive and hit irons in the past two events, but he's still gaining like 8 strokes putting an event.
Yeah, that'll help you. That can mask a lot. So what about Nick Taylor?
I get sucked into Nick Taylor way too often, and he's just never good. Except for the weeks I don't play him, then he somehow wins.
Well, are you going to play him this week?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to
might hop on then. Yeah, I don't know. He's been quietly not the form hasn't been immaculate by any stretch. Ball striking's been okay though. Again, another one of those. You're talking large field GPPs. Him and CT Pan probably in my pool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. McCarthy has been outrageously bad for a while now, so that's somewhat concerning. I think I'm gonna play Rafa at 69 too. Just this seems like a course where he would play really well. It was like historic Rafa, and maybe it's different than like historic Norin. But when Rafa was good, like get him from 150 and in, and just hit some like lob wedges, and that was his game.
It was. I just don't know if like he's in the bucket now where I truly wonder. Is he even like remotely similar to? I know he's not nearly as good, but what happened? Can't even make a cut.
Still handsome though.
Definitely a handsome devil, and he's got that going for him. But I don't know. Him and Benny On is there. Who
I saw Ben On was 125 to 1, and he should be 125. Yeah, no, just like I saw him at 125 to 1. I was like, man, remember when we used to bet this guy every week? Not that he won, but we used to feel good about it.
Oh, yeah. I remember doing that frequently would be the word. He can't putt. It makes it difficult. But again, I mean, there are so many names here when you look at like Shank and Sloan. I don't think these guys are that different from some of the guys we've already talked about. Like, this is where lineup construction becomes so important.
It's just really hard to go into the sixes. Like I have Scott Brown highlighted right now. Don't feel good about that. There was someone at the very bottom who I didn't mind. Josh Teeter, the Teats, $6,300 coming off a good week. Like if people are going to pay an extra $2,000 for guys that were good last week, I'll just pay $6,300 for a guy who was really good last week.
What about JJ Spawn?
That's a tricky one for me. Because
I like JJ Spawn this week a little bit.
I feel like I play him a lot, and he's just never good. It feels like he's good for half of a round. You're like, oh my God, it's happening for Spawn. Then he'll make a cut and finish last of everyone who made the cut.
That seems like something that would happen. But for that 9-hole stretch, you're feeling pretty good.
You feel like you got the nuts at that point.
Yeah, you're like, this is going well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at guys like Josh Teeter is a name that he didn't catch my eye per se, mostly because, and talk about getting sucked in. You remember when Kevin Tway was good?
It's funny. He was on TV on Sunday. I was like, Kevin Tway, here we go. And he had like this ridiculous up and down. I think it was on number 1, made the putt. And I was like, okay, maybe we can play some Tway next week. Then like I went and looked at his numbers. He was so awful. He just made every putt.
Yeah, he's just someone when I think of like, okay, crazy score, he used to be very, very good. It's been bad for a while though, you're right.
That's like there's a couple guys like that in this field. Like Adam Long and Ted Potter, in my mind, should be really good here, but they just have not been good at all.
Yeah, Adam Long is someone, he's just an anomaly in all regards for me, because when he won, I was just like, you'll never see this guy again. And then he's almost won like multiple other events, but in between those, it's strings of like dozens of missed cuts.
Are you playing your guy Mito Pereira this week?
No.
Hopping on the bandwagon?
Can't do it. What happened to, where's John Pock?
I like John Pock, but he is not playing.
You see this guy, you see Luke Clover? It sounds like Lucas Glover's alias down here.
No, there's a guy named Trip Kinney. Do you know, I found this out. Do you know what Trip is short for?
No, Trippy? What? No, I have no idea.
See, I never, because there's so many like golfers that have the name Trip, or like it's more common in golf than anywhere else in life. Trip is actually short for the third of someone. Like they're the third, they're Trip.
What?
Yeah. Like Harold Varner III could be named Trip Varner.
So it's your first name just becomes the third?
It doesn't. That's just what people call you.
Okay, yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I found that out. I was like, oh, this just sounds like some name that people call people in Arkansas or something. But no.
I've never heard that in my life. That's something.
Yeah.
Trip.
Yeah. So if your son's name is Ben Rasa and then his son's name is Ben Rasa, you'd be Trip Rasa.
Trip Rasa the third.
No, just Trip. You either say Ben Rasa the third or Trip Rasa.
It.
That's going to be the new rule?
The new rule, Trip Rasa the third. Man, there's, what about Will Gordon? I meant that he was on my list of people to ask you about.
Oh yeah, hard pass. I never play him. I'd rather play Big Willie style. Trip Mac, or Willie Mac the third.
Yeah, that's
who I'm not.
I don't
playing.
think. Okay, yeah, I would rather play your boy Cam Percy if I had to play someone, but I think I'd play Spawn over all of them.
There are legit creative players. Oh my God, Jason Boner Jams is playing.
Yeah, no, there's, like I said, Luke Clover is not, that can't be a real name.
Oh my God, that is a real. Mark Wilson is playing. Shouldn't he be like doing the Sirius broadcast?
He might be doing both. George McNeil.
That'd be great. They should let him play and do commentary.
Absolutely should let him. Charlie Bilge, the outlaw golfer extraordinaire.
Oh, Harrison Frey. Like, there's old men in this field. And for whatever reason, Sebastian Kaplan is also the mid. Like, he's not awful. Matt Every is back to being... When does Matt Every just pop up and win an event again?
Isn't it, what is it, API? Which one is it?
Yeah, API is the one that he has all the success at. But there was like a little run like 2 years ago where he was decent again.
Yeah, I remember that. That was when Sam Saunders used to play golf.
How is Sam Saunders not in this field? What happened to him?
I don't know. Alex Shockey.
That's
a
Shocker.
Bundesliga team.
Isn't that Schelke?
Schelke. Oh, your boy. I don't even know if this is your boy or it might be mine. Have you? I can't believe Jonas Blix has been.
Okay. So Jonas Blix for you. I was gonna say Nelson Ledesma, who only because his last name is Ledesma that I ever noticed that he makes cuts, but he makes cuts in like really shitty fields. That's his game.
Is he Argentinian?
I believe he is.
Okay, yeah. So the reason I know, so what I do when I'm sweating and I haven't looked, I go like this and I'm squeezing, looking for Grillo's score. And I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. This guy shot 6 under. And then it's either Fabian Gomez or Ledesma. And then I'm absolutely furious. Yeah, that's why I know his name, because he's got the Argentinian flag.
Blixt has made a few cuts. That's something. Yeah.
It's not that crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. As a guy who once cashed me a very big payday at the Zurich with Cam Smith, I feel like that was the last time he was ever good.
Checks out, yeah. Better than Grayson.
That's true. Yeah, Ledesma, 2.7 strokes gained on approach at Rocket Mortgage, 2.1 at... Yeah, so he's like 60% in shitty field events, making the cut.
Yeah, that guy, through no fault of his own, pisses me off because I always confuse his scores with the great Emiliano.
Is Griot in the British Open? Is that why he's not here?
I don't know. I hope not, for my sake.
Yeah, but you got Ricky to play. You're fine.
Yeah, I got enough problems. Does the winner of this get to go over?
Yeah, that's the last spot. And I think if you finish inside the top 10 in Scotland, you're in.
Okay. Oh, God. This could produce some real characters then.
I don't see anyone else. Camillo, maybe?
I mean, again, I think it's one of the weeks truly, and I don't build like this often. Usually I have like an idea. This is one where I'm really going to hone in on the guys that I feel pretty good with in the sevens, certainly up top. And then I'm just going to see where I'm left. And if I have, say 13.5, I'll look for 6,900, 6,600, plus 100, minus 100, and just see the pairings that I can come up with.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm probably going to commit to like 4 guys at the top, try to play them in almost every lineup, like Stanley, Shez, and Norlander in the sevens, and then just mix and match the rest.
Okay, I got one last guy for you. Don't know if I've ever played this guy, but he makes the cut. I think he's going to pass Tiger's made cut streak, and no one even knows.
Oh, can I guess?
Wes Roach.
Oh, Wes
makes
Roach.
Every cut.
Does he actually?
I mean, I may have exaggerated about the Tiger thing, but he's been making cuts on the Corn Ferry. He's been making cuts when he gets starts.
How didn't he get into the Rocket? He was like 3rd at Rocket Mortgage 2 years ago, and somehow he didn't get in the field last week. He had his there we go, 5 cuts in a row. Interesting. Maybe.
Again, these are the like. That's what I'm really going to do, though. I'll have a basket of guys. Sean O'Hara will probably be in there, JJ Spawn, and I'll narrow them down as I need. And depending on how many permutations I need, I'll allocate a couple percent, because you don't need a ton of percentage points for these guys. And in a field like this, probably more the merrier in some regard.
Are you buying into the Mark Anderson resurgence from last week? Because I saw him on TV. I was like, I legit don't know who that is.
Yeah, no, I didn't know there was a sequel to that story. I didn't even know it was a story to begin with. So good for him. But man, there was a time where Sam Ryder used to just like do things.
That was earlier this year. He had that nice run from... I bet him to win the week that Damon won, and Campos had like the fist pump but missed the putt. He came 3rd that
was in
week.
The islands?
Yeah, that was in, I want to say Dominican, but it might have been Puerto Rico. But then he was like good at Honda the next week too, and that was sort of the end of him.
Yeah, I think that tells the whole story.
We're having fun here.
God. Yeah, no, this is fantastic. It's going to be a lot less fun when I actually have to build lineups with some of the guys that we talked about.
Josh Teeter is really the only one that I'm looking at. Maybe I'll get to Michael Gellerman. I don't know. Is this bad enough to be an alternate event and we can play Aaron Badley, king of the alternate event?
He does things around the green, and that's about it. Lingmirth is here. Clickage. Bill Haas is here. Gotta give him a shout out when I can. Wow. Bill Haas was actually amazing at Palmetto. That I'm still probably not going to play him, but where did that come from?
No idea. Your guy Seifert's down there. Austin Cook, who used to be a big time favorite of mine, he like lost his game. It's a tough scene for some of these guys. BVP, he had his run.
Yeah, I mean, you are forever. God, there was also a time when Dominic Bazzelli used to be like a thing, and he would putt crazy good.
I used to do a bit like there was a correlation between Hadwin and Bazzelli, that if one played well, they both played well. Now they just both play poorly.
Yeah, it's still correlated. It's just the wrong way. DJ Trahan, Ben Taylor, man, these are the Mad Libs plays. Some of these guys, I don't even.
Let's try to make a play the good plays lineup, if that is possible this week. Does it start with...
we've got Ches?
Yeah, does it start with Berger or does it start with Henley and Streelman? I guess is the question.
So it's the play the good plays lineup. I think it starts with Henley and Streelman, even though personally, for my own lineups, I would rather start with Berger.
So Henley, Streelman, Stanley, Shez. That seems acceptable, right?
Yeah, 15 flat. Yeah, a lot of options left.
So now we're at $7,500 per player.
Well, who's that guy?
Just a creative name.
Yeah, David Perk. I think that's the point guard in Gonzaga. That's neither here nor there.
Do we want to do like Kadira and then someone at 8K, or do we just want to stick right around that 7K range?
You just want Doug Gimman here. Boy, we could do Norlander, Pat Perez.
Norlander, Pat Perez. I actually don't hate that. Norlander, Stricker.
I think that's kind of the build that I would take for something like this.
Yeah, I'll go Stricker instead of Perez.
Okay. I can live with that.
So it is Henley, Streelman, Stanley, Shez, Norlander, Stricker. Play the best plays lineup.
My God.
That's not great, man.
Yeah, this is
That is a suboptimal lineup, I feel. Well, I mean, not for this field, but just looking at it, it's like, oh, good God. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Ben and I continued talking for a little bit more, but that's going to be in a separate video on Mayo Media Network about our favorite Scottish Open DraftKings picks and bets for the week. It's going to be a mini version. Now, if you just listen to the audio version of the show, then it wouldn't be a problem. Now, would it? I want to remind everyone to smash the like button for the video, and in the comment section, leave your favorite two $6,000 players for the week at the John Deere Classic. I'll send out the newsletter out on Wednesday evening. I'll have the final pick show up on Wednesday. Plus, I have a huge football show dropping on Wednesday as well. So please go check that out. Enter the review giveaway as well. And if you sub to the newsletter, you're in the draw for bucks too. So you can check out the cheat sheet up on dkplaybook.com as well. Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!